All right, let's jump right back to our top story today, the testimony from Special Counsel John Durham. Joining me now to discuss, President of Judicial Watch, the author of A Republic Under Assault, Tom Fitton, and former federal prosecutor and former Assistant U.S. Attorney Francey Hakes. Francey, I'll go to you first on this one. I am disappointed that there's not more action taken out of the Durham report. However, it seems that it was pretty measured, and it did do the one thing it set out to do, which was prove there was no reason for this investigation under Robert Mueller to even start in the first place. What do you say?
Well, I agree with that, Carl. I mean, I read the report and I wrote about this years ago, that there was nothing at the basis of Crossfire Hurricane. And to this day, it still shocks me that people that I know, people that I worked with in the same office I handled FISA warrants with, would have signed off on this FISA warrant in Carter Page and the Crossfire Hurricane's opening. But John Durham did his job, and he was measured. I think you're right about that. It is frustrating that literally no one has been held accountable for this yet, but he also made a good point in today's hearing. Sometimes malfeasance, misconduct, do not rise to the level of criminality, and that has to be addressed by the next president.
But, Tom, we were just talking with Representative Russell Fry, and one of the biggest things that concerned both me and him was the fact that this level of entrenchment and this malfeasance is so deep that there's, quote, no overnight fixes. You, as someone who has made a habit and a career of transparency, do you expect or see any way to get to the bottom of showing who lit this up more than the people who have been named in the report?
Well, you know, maybe we can get someone who's going to prosecute cases other than who's going to write reports. I think, with all due respect to Mr. Durham, he was a failed prosecutor. The big prosecution against the FBI lawyer was handed to him on a silver platter by the IG. And he had two narrow, constrained prosecutions, admittedly hampered, by the courts, but still, exceedingly narrow, that went nowhere, that they ended up in acquittals.
Yeah.
And I could write a report. We all could write reports, but we want prosecutions. And frankly, if I was the next president, I'd get the Justice Department back on these cases.
Yeah, well, that is actually something that probably half the country wants to see. But, Francey, John Durham was asked about exculpatory evidence, which we've been talking about for a while, about the Mueller probe. This was all during the investigation. Take a look.
Can you tell us why and under what motivation would a prosecutorial agency act in such a way where it willfully ignores multiple instances of exculpatory evidence throughout the course of its investigation? Because I just don't understand that.
That, in my experience, that is not the norm. That's not how the FBI performs. In this particular case, as is reflected in the report, there appear to be persons in the FBI who were central to opening the investigation that had rather strong views concerning then candidate Trump.
Yeah, Francey, I think Peter Strzok makes that list, but at the same time, to Tom's point, it's on a silver platter.
Well, it is on a silver platter. I mean, the single most outrageous thing that I think we learned in the Durham report is that the Obama administration at the top levels, President Obama himself, then Vice President Biden, the Attorney General, Director Comey, all knew that there was a plot by Hillary Clinton to falsely tie Donald Trump to Russian government action. And in spite of that knowledge, or maybe because of that knowledge, they launched Crossfire Hurricane anyway. And the exculpatory information about Carter Page and Donald Trump that they learned time and time again never seemed to even slow them down. The fact that you had the Steele dossier, they didn't even bother to try to verify any of its allegations until after President Trump was elected, really tells me all I need to know about the motivation of the top people at both agencies, DOJ and FBI.
Right. Tom, you shared a tweet the other day claiming that Obama knew, Clinton knew, Biden knew, Comey knew, Brennan knew, McCabe knew, Strzok knew, Clapper knew, Schiff knew, FBI, everybody knew, basically. And yet, to your point, no one charged.
Yeah, and, bringing it forward to today, we see the Durham report was just a bump on the road in the effort to get Trump. We have this outrageous prosecution of him out of the Justice Department, where exculpatory evidence is, minimized or neglected. Prior legal precedent is ignored. Prior Justice Department positions on presidential records is ignored. You have these anti-Trumpers within the agency overriding FBI objections, according to the Washington Post, to force a raid on Trump's home.
Right.
Even now, they're still investigating him on January 6th. And the left is complaining that the FBI only agreed to initiate this investigation and targeting Trump on January 6th. They waited until the Justice Department political operatives forced them to do so. So,
Yeah.
you know, unfortunately, Durham's wrong. This is the standard of behavior in the FBI and Justice Department. Target the political enemies of the Democrats and the left, and protect their own.
Well, it does.
Protect their own.
It does. Yeah, it does bring up the notion. It's like, well, we've assigned ourselves to investigate ourselves, and we've found that we've done nothing wrong. So, Francey Hakes, Tom Fitton, always a pleasure. Appreciate you being here.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Carl.